And the amp has watts. Welcome! Studio C grid. First video, well not really, we did the victory amp in here as a test video, but the first real video after Gear Street. I'm showing Leslie the ropes in her new digs, as we say. And what better video to make in here than the new Tone King Royalist Head. I've been waiting for this for a year. I've heard it at Gear Street 4 and it was phenomenal. And now I'm waiving my fee for the video in trade for this head, which hopefully will become one of my main amps because it is pretty damn good as a pedal platform and as a beautiful dirt amp. In good old dirt amp, old amp tradition, it doesn't have an effects loop and all that, but we're gonna go through things. I did not have the manual. Maybe it's in the box. I don't know. So I know very little about this other than the sounds, and they're good. And I could tell you about its British roots and blues breakers, maybe, or JTMs, possible. But realistically, none of that matters, because what matters is what it sounds like. So why the fuck would you care whether it sounds like a blah blah? What it sounds like is what it matters. What matters, not what it's based on. I think personally. Now it's got tubes inside, and you probably saw it in the beginning. 34s. Does it matter? I mean, what does it sound like? That's what matters. So we have 2 channels, and they're really the same channel, so you can just set them up differently. If we look at the front panel here, we got an A/B switch. We got a volume or gain for A, and this is a non-master volume amp, which is kind of essential when we're talking about JTME kind of things. So that's your gain and your gain for A and B, and you can pull these big-ass knobs for fat. Shared EQ, presence, and not like the Christmas ones. And then you've got, this is essentially, again, for A and B, we got a voicing with a 64, a 67, and a 70 voicing. Now again, those might tell you things about different eras of British amps. Tells me nothing. What I care about is what does it sound like. And the older you get, the less dense and gainy it gets. This never gets high gainy, but in 70 it is more dense and gives you the most gain. So we're going to start down here. And each channel independently has the famous Tone King attenuation. So no, it doesn't have master volume. Yes, you're cranking the gain up and making it louder, but then independently, you can actually step down, and internally it clicks through really discrete new relay bits. Make it quieter. Built-in attenuation, and if you attenuate, it actually changes the frequency response so that it still sounds the same. There is an HF switch, and I do not know what that means. Could be high frequency retained, or I have no idea. And you know what? I don't care, because if we hear a difference, then we know what it does. If we don't hear a difference, it's pointless. So we're going to go and have that off. In the back, there isn't too much. You can see the fuse on-off switch all the way there in the back. There's impedance. We're running it at 16 into the aux at the moment. And then there's a line out, which you could run into like an IR loader if you wanted that. Of course, that is just a line out. I don't think it's a frequency compensated line out. So if you really wanted to run this and, you know, record with it, you could. And the foot switch switches between A and B. That is so boring and simple. I left that in the box because, you know what, I have fingers and I can do that right here in the front. I'm playing this with my Shabbat Puma because I want to. Brand new strings on it. In front of the cab, Blackstar left a 212 here with something speakers in them. They are 70, 80 speakers. And in front of it, we can't actually see, yeah, right there, we've got the Royal Labs R10 Hot Rod ribbon mic that has a little bit more top end than usual. We're going to try that, and maybe in the mix I find that it's cool and we want to use that. I will let you know with the title down there. Other than that, I'm running a 412 Creamback loaded cab in the aux, mic with a 57 and an R21. R120 ribbon thing. And that's it. So I have on the floor an Archer, which is Cloney, a Galaxy, which is space reverby, and this I'm not using, but I just used it for sound check so I could level in the mic, and that's really it. So, clean tone right there. Of course, there's no reverb or anything, so we're gonna turn one on. It's a beautiful clean sound. I mean, yeah. Can we get it even cleaner? I would have it kind of at noon with this guitar. It's always mid-focused, that amp. It's not mid-staffed, and I love that. So let's see what the fat switch will do. Definitely does something. I think with more gain comes more fatness, I think. So it's round if you wanted that. So that's for the bridge pickup, and you can clearly hear there is more, little bit more drive. To me, those are sounds that make me very, very happy. So let's push this back in, crank up the gain a bit. Remember, we have the delay in front of the amp, so at some point I might want to turn that off. Or we'll turn it down. God, that's cool. Now we got a little bit louder. I'm just stepping that down, and built-in attenuator per channel. I can literally get this down to absolute bedroom level. And the amp has watts. I don't know, and I don't care. You can step it down as much as you want. It's an amp with, it has watts. I mean, I'm sure it has watts. Go to the website, find out about the watts. So that's kind of the max gain for the 1964 setting, and of course we can push that with some kind of pedal. In this case, it's an Archer clonny thing. I'm going to turn the effect off now, and I'm actually going to engage the effect in the aux. fun can be had. Let's pull the thing. Not too shabby. Let's quickly look at the EQ. Subtle but effective. If you want even more. Oh yeah, it's even more effective down than up. Trouble. How about the présence? I mean, okay. You had me at hello right there. Gonna go to the 1967. Clear mid push at around maybe 1K, very, very clear. And welcome. I like. So no, it doesn't give you a whole new amp, but it gives you a little bit of mid push and a slight elevation in gain. Now let's push the fat. we're moving to 70. Even more of that 1K-ish kind of a push there. And even trebly. Okay. Damn, that's a dynamic amp. Holy balls. And we're gonna push it with the Archer. Obviously set up a solo level for stage, set up a rhythm level for stage, set up a clean sound for stage on B, and you're good to go. That's maybe even louder than your solo sound. So bottom line is, clean sometimes doesn't have the ability to fight the drives in terms of volume, headroom, all that stuff. None of that matters here because you have independent volume and therefore attenuation control actually. So as you could see, I could very easily get my clean sound exactly balanced with my lead or rhythm sound. I wish that with the drives in here, I had an effects loop. Now, to get that happening, you could of course use a Fryette power station, something like this, but then of course the whole attenuation, you're doubling that because the power station is an attenuator. You could ask your front of house guy to give you those effects. You could run them behind the mic with something like the Roxy from Grace Design. I have a video on that. So there are ways around that with these classic-y, non-master volume, non-effects loopy kind of amps. The thing is, even if it had an effects loop, a lot of the drive probably comes from the power stage. And in this case, the effects loop is kind of pointless. So, this is a masterpiece of an amp. 2 equal channels. They don't sound any different, but you can set them up differently. Killer leads. And if you push it over the cliff with something in front of it, doesn't really matter what. It could be a clone, it could be a tube screamer, it could be really a boost in anything. You can get this screamy scream leads. I'm going to say this will do any kind of rock there is. It does mind-blowing cleans. With a very simple panel, very simple way to understand it. You want to push it more into the mids and that 1K range and a little bit more gain. Go and crank up the age. It's a Tone King Royalist. You've heard it. It is fantastic. I fell in love with this when I played it once over a year ago, which is why I said, please, I just want one. Whatever I need to do, let's make that happen. And they made it happen. So thank you, Tone King. That's going to be in my studio. And I have a hunch that it's a brilliant pedal platform. A little bit more British, a little bit more mid-focused than what the Sky King gives me, which is, of course, if you ask me, the best pedal amp in the world. And am I biased? Yeah, because I've played it and I heard it, and that's my opinion. That's my bias. Okay. Thanks, Avi, for the brilliant guitar. That helps. I mean, yes, the setup I played here will set you back a bit, but it is among the finest tones you can get. And if you can play much better than I can, because I'm not good, then you can get even better tones. Thanks, I would say, with a lisp in German. Thanks, Sweetwater, for the Royal R10 Hot Rod. And that's it from here. I'll put links below. Thank you, Tone King, that I could do a release video for this. And thank you for my pretty amp. And as always, animals at the end.